Near the Oklahoma-Missouri border, there is a stretch of approximately 4 miles of isolated countryside known as the Devil's Promenade. How exactly it got its name is unknown, but some say legends of strange happenings in the area date back as far as the 1800s. Some say it was named by the Native American tribes who were forcibly removed from their ancestral lands and resettled in this area. According to legend, as the Quapaw tribe crossed the Spring River into their new homeland, they saw the devil pacing on the bluff above the far bank, a dark omen foreshadowing what was soon to come. However the name Devil's Promenade first originated, it would become officially cemented into the pages of American history after an article was published to a local paper in the 1930s. In that article, a strange light phenomenon that had been seen by locals for decades, maybe even centuries, was first published for the wider public to enjoy. That light phenomenon would come to be known as the Ozark Spooklight, a strange, swirling orb of orange-yellow light seen zipping through the trees and along the roadway between the hours of 10 p.m. and midnight. On today's episode of Let's Get Haunted, we'll be unraveling the history and mystery of the Ozark Spooklight, reading first-hand witness accounts, and theorizing what exactly the fiery orange orb might really be. And the strangest part of it all, you can still go see it there today.
Welcome back to Let's Get Haunted
with your host,
Nat Strawn
and Allie. Welcome back, Haunties, to episode 263 of Let's Get Haunted. We are your hosts. I'm Allie, that's Nat, and we're here to get you good and haunted every single Wednesday at the witching hour. If you don't know how our show works, Nat, do you want to explain who we are and what we're about?
Who we are? It's an age-old question that we'll probably spend our whole lives trying to figure out. However, what we do is we make a podcast. It comes out on Wednesdays, like Allie said, and we switch off every week telling stories. This week is Allie's turn to tell a story, so I have no idea what she's going to talk about. Because unlike other podcasts where people get together and they do teamwork to create an episode, this podcast is just one person in the dark. And we think it's kind of fun because that's the thing about getting haunted. Is one person should be in the dark. One person should be getting haunted. Okay? Now, the second thing, or perhaps the third thing, don't remember how many things I promised to talk about here, but the next thing we need to talk about is that if this is your first time to listen to the show, you gotta buckle the fuck up because you never quite know what you're gonna get. And if you didn't like this episode, you have no choice but to listen to the episode before it or the episode after it so you can hear what an episode where I present the story is like, because they're really different. And what kind of person are you if you just judge one side of a book cover? That's weird.
Yeah, our back and our front are very different. We are very different people. I'm flat as a board on the back. But yeah, we're very excited to be with you here today. Also, if you're new to the show, you should know that in the show notes below, we have very detailed timestamps. So if at any point you want to skip into or out of a section, it's all right there for you. And the reason why I'm saying that is because we start off some of our episodes with 5 to 10 minutes of chit chat. If you don't like chit chat, which we call personal hauntings, which is where we just talk about weird things going on in our personal lives this week, then you're going to need to skip out of this section. However, I do recommend you give it a chance. About 80% of the time, our personal hauntings are not very entertaining. But that other 20% of the time, something absolutely bananas happens. And so you're just going to have to listen and find out.
This one, I feel like it's going to be kind of relatable. Here's what happened. It was like 6 p.m., okay? It's time for dinner. I've got 2 young children, so this is the time that shit starts getting hectic at the end of the day, right? And my husband's like, I gotta meet someone at this pizza place. Like, I'm supposed to meet them there, so can we just go there? Or can I go? And I'm like, fuck no, you are not leaving me alone with these 2 kids to do dinner by myself. Like, I'll go with you and the kids to the pizza place. Like, let's get all in the car. But before we go, I just want to make sure is this a casual place? Because I'm wearing a big t-shirt, no bra, okay, Nat Geo style, and I've got on like pajama bottoms that are October, like haunted. They're like, they have like fall leaves on them and they're like rusted brown and it's like clearly like Halloween, like fall themed. So, and slides and no makeup. So like I am not trying to go somewhere cool. And right now, guys, it's a Friday night. Okay. So we're recording this podcast. It's a Friday night. So I'm like, I really don't want to see anybody. Cause one, we talked about the Nat Geos are out. You know, I feel like that's like could be assault. Honestly, just for someone to see that without their consent. So fast forward, we go to this pizza place. There's a line out of the door. It's like one of those swanky pizza places where like, it's not just like pepperoni on top. It's like pancetta from Italy. And like someone's like hand making it and there's a fucking concert going on outside. It's a fucking park, guy. There's like for a freaking summer concert series. And just people everywhere. And I'm walking into this thing, you know, like blockades with my babies that are like not well dressed or whatever. Then there's a fucking splash pad. Of course there's a splash pad and my kids just run to it, immediately get soaking wet. And then they're all like crying like, cause it's cold and stuff. And so now there's even more attention on me. And I'm not making this up. Like people were looking because it's cold and now I'm wet. And I'm just like, sucks right now. I actually hate this because do I love attention? Yes. But when I have curated it in a specific way so that it can be bestowed upon me when I feel worthy of it, I don't want the attention when I'm in my pajama bottoms with these wet, gross kids. My baby has pink eye, double pink eye right now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's not a great time. It's not a sexy, cool time. And the last thing I wanted to do was be out in public. And so, yeah, that just happened. And then I totally forgot we were even doing this episode. And then I get a text from Allie and she's like, actually, can we push it 15 minutes? And I'm like, yeah, we can. Cause like, I'm not even home yet. So now I'm home. I changed shirts. I've got the never skip neck day on. Someone
never skip neck day. That is a fan favorite shirt of even people who don't know our show. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, there's no time to explain. If you're listening to the audio-only version of the show, you should know that you can tune into the video version at any point by going over to Spotify or YouTube. Too long, can't explain, no time to explain. However, a couple years ago, we did a story on this little alien guy named Skinny Bob, and a fan made us some shirts. We made our own shirts, and they say never skip neck day because gray aliens, they've got these gigantic noggins and these little tiny skinny bodies and little pencil necks, and yet they do it. And it's really a metaphor for society and how the bureaucrats at the top just consume everything and get fatter and fatter while the rest of us skinny pencil necks are crushed under the weight of their enormity. But I digress. Basically what I was saying is it's a really good shirt and you guys should go back and listen to that episode if you want. But actually my other point was that my brother saw me wearing that shirt the other day and he does not listen to the show. He's very supportive, just it's not his bag. And he was like, oh my God, I need one of those shirts. That's so funny. So even people that don't know the show like the shirts.
I love that for us. You know, we need some wins, guys. So if you
really
like
do.
anything about us at all, please let us know.
Well, sorry that your husband sprung a party on you while you were in pajamas. That is literally my nightmare. Like, I can't even engage with this story because I don't even know what I would do in that situation except for, like, immediately start a fight with my partner. Like, why did you not tell me we're going to an actual, like, summer festival? Well, guys, with all that being said, it's time to transition from braless summers to...
Oklahoma? Missouri?
Oh, wait. No, it's time to transition from braless orbs to shining orbs in the sky. Almost there. There's something there. Because I have a story for you today. And since it is a Friday night, I'd like to just get it out because I've been thinking about this story for a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I haven't been thinking about it for too long, but I have been thinking about it for maybe like 2 weeks. And so I need to just like info dump on you. And technically Nat's from Texas, but she grew up in Oklahoma. And so she might have some like extra local insight for the story. You never know. So are you ready for an info dump?
I'm so ready. And you guys, I famously have a disease, which may or may not be real, called ADHD. And so I will be taking notes to help me stay focused during this. So if you see me looking down pensively, I'm taking notes on my Toast-It pad.
Hell yeah.
Hit
All
me.
right, guys, here we go. I've got another confession to make. If there's one thing I like in this world, it's a soft, cuddly, heavy, large, soft, cuddly blanket. I am constantly covered in blankets. That's right, blankets plural. One is not enough. Until now. Today's episode is sponsored by LOLA Blankets, my new favorite blanket for everything. I wear it when I'm walking around the house in my pajamas and it's really cold because my fiance will not let me turn the heater on because he's always too hot. I wear it when I'm sitting on the couch and we're watching a spooky Netflix show. I wear it in the morning as I'm coming down the stairs to make my overnight oats. I drape it over my bed at night so that I can have a nice, soft, cuddly top sheet. I swear by my LOLA blanket. You may think you've felt a soft blanket. You don't know shit. LOLA is the world's #1 blanket, crafted with ultra-soft luxury faux fur and a signature 4-way stretch that people instantly obsess over the second they touch it. It's machine washable, double-hemmed, and built to last for years, making it a truly meaningful long-term gift. It stays flawless. No shedding, no pilling, no delicate care worries, which make it a gift that people can actually enjoy every day. In fact, I love my LOLA blanket so much that I just bought one for my mom for Mother's Day, and I bought one for my dad for Father's Day, because what do you get your parents? Does anyone else have this problem? No, I don't want anything this year. Like, bullshit, you don't want anything this year. Now they don't have to tell me what they want because I got them LOLA blankets. Oh, do you want to know what my nephew's getting for his birthday this year? A LOLA blanket. Oh, do you want to know what my niece is getting for her birthday this year? A LOLA blanket. If you're one of those people like me who never knows what to get your family, look no further. I'm telling you, this is the perfect gift, whether it's for yourself or someone else. For a limited time, our listeners can get 40% off select LOLA blanket products with code LET'S-GET-HAUNTED at checkout. Just head to lolablankets.com and use code LET'S-GET-HAUNTED. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know we sent you. Wrap yourself in luxury with LOLA blankets. By the way, when you buy a LOLA blanket, can you please tag us in your photos draped in it? I'm not joking. It is the softest thing you will ever feel in your life. Part 1. The History. For more than a century, stories have circulated about a strange glowing orb drifting through the back roads near the Oklahoma-Missouri border. The Ozark Spooklight, as it would later come to be known, is a paranormal light phenomenon that is spotted along a rural farm road called E50. Also called the Hornet Spooklight and the Tri-State Spooklight, the phenomenon is most often described as a fiery orange sphere seen floating silently through the darkness along a lonely stretch of gravel road locals call the Devil's Promenade. Witnesses say the light appears without warning, bobbing and weaving down the roadway before suddenly vanishing back into the night. At one time, East 50 Road, often just called Spook Light Road by locals, was just a path made of dirt and gravel. And although now it is better maintained and part of it is paved, a quick look in Google Street View shows that it is definitely still rural. The Spring River snakes to the right of the road, running in a north-south direction, and the pasture and farmlands are only broken up by a smattering of trees and ramshackle homes. Geographically, Spook Light Road sits on the western edge of the Ozark Plateau, a landscape of wooded, rolling hills, narrow valleys, springs, bluffs, and mineral-rich karsts. Now, do you know what a karst is? I just learned this today, and I need to talk about it.
Mineral-rich karst.
Do you remember in geography class in elementary school, and they would have all the different landforms illustrated in the book, and it would be like, this is a plateau. This is the trough of the wave. This is the crest of the wave. You know what I'm talking about?
Right. Yeah.
Here
I know
we
what
go.
you're talking about.
great. Good. Because I like to go back there sometimes. So this is a karst. I've just sent it to you. It's a cross-section diagram by David Culver of American University. If you can just read the description at the top.
It says a karst, K-A-R-S-T, is a unique type of landform characterized by subsurface drainage systems, sinking or losing streams, sinkholes, big springs, and caves, formed by the dissolution of limestone, dolomite, marble, or other soluble rocks. Oh, I think I'm getting it. Okay, so this is basically like a cross-section showing a stream that goes underground. So then it's like a flooded cave stream, and what do you call that? Like a cave system that's flooded. And I guess the karst is like the land that's above the flooded cave system. Honestly, don't understand what this cross diagram is.
I think it's the most haunted of all landforms. That's why I wanted to show it to you, because it looks like these weird flowing underground river systems and caves, and like you could just fall in. There's sinkholes. To me, this has to be the most haunted of landforms.
Yeah, I mean, it says over here the shale. I know what the shale is because my dad always talks about that, because in like oil and gas like industries, they're always talking about the shale and how you have to get beneath the shale, and the shale here is better than the shale there. So I know that this is probably real, but it seems fake because the top part of that land, how is it floating on that water? Would it not just crush that water? You know what I mean?
I think that's how you get sinkholes though. Like temporarily the land is stable, and then once the like underground water system gets wide enough, then everything just falls in. And I remember a few years ago you did an episode sort of about sinkholes. I think it was actually about something else, but we spent way too long talking about sinkholes, and it just scared me. It scared me because there was that story out of Florida where some guy was asleep in his bed and a sinkhole literally swallowed his whole house, and they never found him.
Yeah, it like went like his bed like went into a sinkhole, you guys, and it was such a scary episode because it was about the boogeyman, and then we were talking about like what if it was the boogeyman that pulled you into the sinkhole. See, we like to do that on Let's Get Haunted. We like to take scientific facts and happenings and apply paranormal meanings to them.
Yeah, definitely. This is probably the most infuriating show if you actually have a very serious scientific job, because there's probably a guy who like wrote his PhD on karsts, and he's listening to this right now and he's like, that's not even what a karst is! But I think it's cool.
Okay.
And I think it's haunted.
Karsten Daly.
Karsten Dunst. So, the point is that this place has a lot of cool rocks.
The rocks! Hank?
Now, they're minerals. Jesus, Marie, I got some geodes coming that are very delicate, all right?
It's got a lot of cool minerals. And in fact, from the late 1890s through the 1970s, the region produced millions of tons of lead and zinc, supplying more than 75% of the bullets and shells used by the United States during World War I and World War II. And I thought that was really interesting because I had never heard of this very specific area in northern Oklahoma. And so to then learn that it had enough lead and zinc naturally produced there that they could mine 75% of the bullets. The materials came from this area.
Okay, this is actually jogging my memory. I do now remember, because I had family growing up in the Ozarks, and it is a thing, like quartz is everywhere. Like to go down to the creek and find cool rocks, or like quartz, or like sometimes you'll find ones that have gold, or like pyrite, which is fool's gold, or like other different interesting rocks. And then there's all these places you can go dig for gold just like in the middle of the Ozarks. And there's like this one where if you get a diamond, they like pay you money for it. It's like you're mining their property, but they'll give you cash for what you find. Yeah, I don't know if that was like a local to like the actual Ozarks. Like, do the Ozarks have more cool rocks and minerals than other places? Or is it just that there's fucking nothing to do in Oklahoma and Arkansas? And so they're like, well, let's just give people a shovel and tell them to look for shit. Maybe they'll pay us.
That's like such a large percentage of toddler toys are just teaching them how to do a chore. Like my nephew absolutely loves this like fake lawnmower thing. And then he also has this fake mop, and he'll just walk around and like pretend to be mopping, or walk around, pretend to be mowing for hours.
Yeah.
It's good. We're priming them for child labor. I'm into it.
Priming them.
Now, mining ended decades ago in this region, but the landscape has still changed dramatically over time. In the 19th century, it was a river crossing and settlement zone for forcibly removed native nations, with wagon routes, scattered farms, and small rural communities. In the late 1800s, the discovery of all the lead and zinc saw mining camps and boom towns spread through the area, which in turn led to the installation of railroad lines and then Route 66, which shaped travel through the district. The 20th century left behind the unmistakable scars of the tri-state mining belt: chat piles, sinkholes, abandoned workings, and polluted water. All this to say, while you can still see the Ozark Spooklight on old Spook Light Road today, local historians have noted that fewer roadside trees and newer light installations have made the orb harder to spot than in earlier decades. Perhaps because of the changing landscape, descriptions of the light vary dramatically, depending on who you ask and in what decade they saw it. Some witnesses claim the orb is no larger than a baseball, while others insist it can swell up to the size of a basketball or even larger. Many describe it as glowing bright orange or yellow, though others report bluish-white light with fiery edges. According to other eyewitnesses, the orb sometimes hovers low over the road before darting away at impossible speeds, rising above the treetops, splitting into multiple lights, or swaying side to side like a lantern carried by an unseen figure. Locals often claim the best time to see the light is between 10 p.m. and midnight, and some insist it will only make itself known if there are no loud noises and no large crowds. When exactly the light was first spotted is up for debate. Tourism pages still report that native travelers saw it in 1836, and that in 1881, an old publication called the Ozark Spooklight recorded it. Another local summary says the first documented account is often given as 1886. Yet older oral recollections do not even agree with one another. One oft-retold story from local old-timer Bill Miser, which by the way is how he's described in every article I've read about him. They'll be like, local old-timer Bill. And I thought that was kind of sweet, so I kept it in. Placed the first neighborhood scare around 1903, while local historian Larry Wood said the first printed mention he could verify was from 1934. Once the light did enter print, its rise in popularity is fairly easy to follow. An early published first-hand account from late summer 1934 described travelers being taken out to the, quote, Indian Lights south of Joplin, Missouri. In January 1936, a newspaper reported that on some summer nights, as many as 100 cars would gather along the road to watch the spook light. By the mid-1950s, a booklet called The Tri-State Spooklight was being sold from the nearby general store and even mailed to people as far away as California and Chicago. By the 1950s and 60s, a small spooklight museum and pinball parlor stood at the east end of the road, complete with a pay telescope teenagers could feed coins into for a chance to spot the orb up close. A 1965 Popular Mechanics feature gave the legend national magazine exposure, and later state magazine features kept it alive in print locally, and by the 21st century, the story had expanded into documentary and television-style paranormal media, including the 2006 film This is the Spook Light and the 2017 documentary Into the Light, an exploration of the spook light phenomena. So we're about to look at some photos and read some first-hand accounts, but before we get to that, I want to just really emphasize the general description of the spook light. So, like I said, most people describe it as a glowing orb. Some people say it's a spinning orb. Some people describe it as a dancing orb. And the orb is often described in one of the following colors: orange, gold, red, white, greenish, or shifting among these colors. At a distance, it may look like one light, two lights that are stacked on top of each other or side to side, a necklace of lights, or several points that merge and separate. It is said to bob over the rises of the road, shimmer, spin, hover above the trees, dart away, return, and even seem to play with the watcher by retreating when approached and reappearing elsewhere. In close-up stories, older printed sources repeatedly say that the light lit up barns, porches, bedrooms, and fields with its light, crossed over or under cars, perched on bus windows, settled down on the hood of at least one car, and also landed on a fender, a radiator, and sometimes even felt hot enough for witnesses to remark on its warmth. Now, before I send you some of these videos, what do you think so far?
This is crazy because it sounds like people can see. I mean, if the damn road is named after it, then I feel like there's a high probability of seeing it. If there's a parlor at the end of the street that has a telescope where you can put coins into it to see it, you got to be seeing it. So, yeah, I'm wondering, I guess, because it sounds so infamous and because, like I said before, you know, this is kind of an area where there's not a whole lot to do. Is this like a tourist draw to this area now? And I'm so excited to see the pictures because it sounds like a dolphin or something. It's like it playing with us, and you know, it's bobbing and glimmering and glinting and then retreating and coming back. And I'm like, damn, this spook light's trying to fuck right now. Like, what's going on?
It does sound kind of magical to me. It really does.
Oh, wow. Okay, so Allie has sent me a bunch of photos. If you would like to see these, you can watch the video version on Spotify or anywhere you can see videos, even on YouTube. Or you can go to our Instagram at Let's Get Haunted and see the photo dump. But for those of you who don't have access to photos or videos or are visually impaired, I will describe them. So the first two photos are a black and white photo, and then one's like red. And I don't know if that's like technology or something to see at night, but the first one looks like it's twilight.
I know what you are.
Say it.
Vampire.
Yeah, it does, especially after we did that episode about the M zone earlier this year in Russia, which no time to explain. You can go back and find our episode on the Molebka Triangle if you're interested. But in those orb photos, it did have that translucent white, like circle within a circle, maybe some lines in the circle coming off of it. It almost looks like electricity, you know. But these ones very much seem solid. It seems like an actual literal spotlight that is somehow moving on its own throughout the trees. Like instead of a spotlight fixed on the ground shining up into the sky, it almost looks like there's just a theater light up there zipping around.
Yeah, that's a great way to describe it. It's like a stage light.
So now I want you to watch this first video that I sent you. It's called The Mysterious Joplin Spook Light, and it was posted by 7 News, which I assume is a local news station.
It's a 4-state legend that's been discussed since the 1800s. I'm talking about what's known as the Joplin Spook Light. I met up with a 4-state man who showed me where to find it and a local folklore expert to learn the history behind the mystery.
Cross the creek, go around the house, come in the witch's holler, 3 miles and you're here.
Dean Walker is talking about how to find the Joplin Spook Light, a 4-state mystery he's personally witnessed at least 50 times since he was 5 years old.
Well, I've seen guys in a convertible shooting at it with shotguns and a 30-30. They just keep floating down the road.
The original name of the spook light was the Hornet Spook Light, named for a little village and cemetery here on the Missouri side. It was best seen around here in the 1920s and 30s. And then it migrated west into Oklahoma along 40 Road.
And that's actually where the major studies were done by the Corps of Engineers, etc. Then by the late 40s and 50s, it was seen more on 50 Road. And that's what people today call Spook Light Road.
Lisa Martin is a member of the Paranormal Science Lab investigation team and Dark Ozarks. She's written a handful of books about haunted places in southwest Missouri and is currently publishing a new series on regional folklore, with the first book featuring the Joplin Spook Light.
There are tales that it could be a miner. There are tales that it's a Civil War soldier. There are tales that go further back with some of the native lore that it's Indian lovers or Indian princess who's lost, that kind of thing.
Wow. First of all, hell yeah to those people. And
hell yeah.
this news report, living their best goddamn lives. And more power to them.
I love these kinds of interviews because it's usually people that are super into a very specific slice of life of Americana that you're not going to see on TikTok or Instagram Reels because they're not the type of people that would be on there. And so the only way you're ever going to hear their stories is either if they write a book and you buy it, or somebody tracks them down from a local news station. I just think, wow, impeccable. Love it. Good job, Channel 7 News, wherever you are. So I wanted to show you that video because I wanted to point out that a piece of this lore about the spook light is that the spook light over time has changed its quote unquote home, which makes a lot of people think that it is intelligently controlled, whatever it is. So according to people who live along the Missouri side of the Oklahoma-Missouri border, back in the 20s, we would see the spook light over our cemetery. Then in the 30s, it moved across the border into Oklahoma on East 40 Road. And then in the 50s, it moved across to East 50 Road. And that's where it currently resides, is what they say in that clip. But it is kind of interesting because there's this regional rivalry almost, because when you talk to or listen to interviews from Oklahoma local historians, they're like, it's always been here on East 50th. Like, it has never been anywhere else. And it's been here since the 1800s. But then if you're talking to people on the Missouri side, they're like, no. It started in the 1920s and it was in our cemetery. So I thought that was kind of fun too, that there's this rivalry.
This is kind of funny. This is like a horror orb. It's like going all over the place and everybody's claiming it because their self-confidence is just like not high or whatever. They want to have the orb in their state. And so they're like, no, the orb was here. The orb was in both places. That orb was getting double teamed by other orbs. I saw the photos.
Yeah, I hate to break it to you. You are not in an exclusive relationship with this orb, all right? This orb is polyamorous, and you're just going to have to accept it if you want to stay in its life. You guys, life is hard. We really need to take care of our physical health, and that includes our eyeballs, okay? Do you see these boots? I work outdoors. I have to protect my eyes. Eyes aren't to be trifled with, and that's where this week's sponsor comes in. ZENNI Optical. Even in 2026, replacing glasses feels like a whole production, so most of us just live with it. You've got to schedule an appointment, pay a fortune, and then you have to wait. ZENNI Optical fixes all of that. ZENNI is an online eyewear shop, prescription glasses, sunglasses, blue light lenses, starting at under $30. You go to zenni.com, pick a frame, upload your prescription, and they ship it right to your door. No appointment, no store, no upsell at the counter. And at that price, something inside of you just shifts, much like the Ozark Spooklight shifts throughout the sky and forest. You stop asking, do I really need a new pair of glasses? And start asking, why wouldn't I just get them? Get the ones for work, get the fun ones, get the ones for your speed biking, get the ones for your speed skating and your hockey and your rec league, and get the ones you need for staring at your phone and computer. How about that? We could all relate to that. Did you know that ZENNI has blue blockers? And they're fabulous. ZENNI has over 150,000 5-star reviews, and if you've never bought glasses online before, ZENNI has a virtual try-on, so you can see exactly how frames look on your face before you commit. So, if your glasses are overdue for a refresh, now is the time. Go to zenni.com/podcast and use code podcast15 for 15% off your first order. The styles sell out, so don't sit on it. That's zenni.com/podcast, promo code podcast15. So that is the first video I wanted to show you. Now I've got a second video. It's much shorter.
It's called the Joplin Hornet Spook Light. Best video ever captured of the spook light. Total darkness. It is uploaded by a user called BL for Good with 67 subscribers. Wow, this is a crazy video. Okay, so it's like the night vision on like an old Sony handheld or something. And then, yeah, there's lights blinking. There's one that's like a continuous in the distance. Oh my gosh, it's just got so much bigger. And then there's one blinking that's like up in the sky. Like it's got to be like 100 feet in the sky or something. I'm so glad I saw this video, because up until this video, I was thinking like, how do we know it's just not like people holding a flashlight at the end of the road? But this video makes it so clear that it is so bright and it is so high up in the sky that it would have to be like on a helium balloon or something. But it's just, yeah, that's crazy. And then it got so bright that no like human form of light, other than like maybe the light on the front of like a steam engine train or something, might get that bright. I don't know. That's crazy.
But it definitely seems like it's its own thing. I don't really know
Yeah.
how to describe it, but it's like we were talking about earlier. It's not like someone shining a spotlight from the ground, or like you just said, a flashlight from beyond the dip right in the road. It's like it seems that it has its own agenda, like it's its own thing, almost like a bird, but it's a light. You know what I'm saying? It's like zipping and blinking.
It's also, it's trying to communicate. Like, that's what I'm seeing is I'm almost seeing some sort of code or something, like the blinking one up in the sky. I don't know. It feels...
Morse code.
Like it's communicating something. Yeah, I'm like, what does it want? It's been doing this for 50 years now. Is it still doing that? Like, if you go over there?
Some people say it may have been doing this for 200 years. So other people say 150. Other people say 100. Other people say 50. So, I mean, it is an anomaly. Lightning? Oh my God, dude, there are so many theories when we get to the theories section of this episode. There are
How hard can it be, though? Could you just walk up to that shit? Like, does anyone just see it and then just drive their car towards it?
So people have tried to do that. There are people who have literally tried to chase the spook light, and they say, oh, the spook light literally encircled my car, or I had my windows down and it came through my window and went out the other side. Like, people say that the spook light plays with them. And some people will try to get close, and the spook light's like, no, I don't like your vibe, and just flies away, and then nobody can see it the rest of the night. And then other people say that they're chasing the light, and yeah, it'll rest on the hood of their car. It'll go on the top of their car. It'll shoot over to somebody's bedroom, because there are these older kind of farm rundown homes. No offense if you live in this area, but I looked at the photos on Google Maps. Seems like these are some old homes, okay? And so the spook light will like shoot over to one of these windows, bedroom windows, and just light up the entire room, and it'll wake the person up inside. And then they're like, the spook light's back, like, shaking their fist at it until it leaves. So it seems playful in a way.
That's so crazy to me. I really want to know what it is too, because I'm like, okay, if it's just like a local thing that like someone keeps going, like a tradition. 200 years is a long time, though, so I don't think it could be, but...
It could be passed down, okay. I guess. I guess it could be like, my grandfather was the spook light operator, then my father, now it's my turn. That would actually be kind of cool.
I was going to say, that's like the perfect indie, like A24 film premise, right? And then like they're doing it and realize that actually the spook light is real, and it's here, and now we're all running for our lives.
Did you hear about that guy in Florida who had made some sort of footprint thing, and he was making footprints on the sand, and for years people thought there was some creature that was coming ashore at night in Florida, and then later he was like, it was me, and he showed in 1984, Florida mechanic Tony Signorini and his friend Al Williams faked massive 3-toed footprints on Clearwater Beach using custom-made 30-pound metal shoes. Stomping along the shore at night, they sparked a 10-year frenzy, with experts and the public speculating the tracks belonged to a 15-foot-tall prehistoric penguin. Signorini revealed the truth 40 years later.
That's stupid, though. A prehistoric penguin? You live in Florida. Like, why would it not just be like a giant bird or duck or something that is local? Or, I don't know, a gator? Why would you pick prehistoric penguin?
I don't know, but it worked, apparently. But this is honestly so funny to me, because on our show, we occasionally cover cryptid stories. I feel like the Ozark Spooklight is going to be a cryptid story. It could be a ghost story, but I kind of like putting it in the category of cryptid because it does seem to be doing its own thing. We talk about these stories sometimes that are so outrageous, like the paranormal is so outrageous, and then occasionally you'll have someone trying to like mansplain or normie-splain to you what it is that you're looking at. And so it's hilarious to me to imagine these people that are like in fedoras fighting on Reddit. No, that's clearly a penguin footprint. Like, that's clearly a 30-foot tall penguin, as if that's any better than anything else. Like, I don't know. Okay, so I just sent you another video that I'd like you to watch, and this one's from the Missouri Paranormal Association. And like I said, there is this regional rivalry. So it's the Ozark Spooklight. Like everything I can find, the furthest back that newspaper articles have been published, everything has been calling it the Ozark Spooklight. But because there are people in Missouri that love it so much, you will see that sometimes they call it the Joplin Hornet Spooklight, because I guess Hornet is a town on their side of the border, and then Joplin, of course, is a town on their side of the border.
So this is uploaded by at Missouri Paranormal Associate 8914 with 729 views. The Missouri Paranormal Association Joplin Spooklight color. And in this video, it's a video taken at night, so all you can see is like just the light. It's like an orange ember, and then it's kind of like transitioning into multiple, like maybe it's split into 2 and then 3 for a moment. It started as 1, but then it like grew into different ones. Yeah, it looks like embers or something. And then at the end, it's like sparkling almost. Wow, that is an enigma. I do not understand what that is. I keep trying to think like, what is it? And because I feel like I should have heard of this. If I lived in Oklahoma, why have I not heard of the Spook Light?
I mean, I kind of want to go see it in person because it seems like you can. I found a recent vlog. I'm not going to say what the channel is for reasons I will explain in just a minute, but I saw a very recent vlog where this sort of like van life YouTuber duo, like husband wife, they go around the country and they just look at different things in the Midwest, and they stopped at the Spook Light and they filmed it, and they literally saw it and they filmed it. And then I commented on their video and I was like, oh my God, I would love to interview you, because this is from fairly recent. And then I emailed them and I was like, hey, I left a comment on your video just now, but I wanted to shoot you an email too, because I know sometimes comments get buried, blah, blah, blah. Like, gave the spiel, like, I would love to interview you. I'll, like, promote the shit out of your channel, because it's a fairly small channel. And then I went back. Well, a couple days later, I went back to the video to, like, see if they had responded to my comment, and my comment was deleted. So I don't know what happened. If they see this, there's nothing but love. Maybe I got put in YouTube jail and it's not their fault. Maybe like YouTube thought it was spam. I don't know.
Did you comment it from the Let's Get Haunted account?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like they're just like haters then, you know?
Yeah, maybe they watched one of our episodes and they were like, no.
Yeah, but then why delete it? Why not take that opportunity to be like, actually, I thought in episode 200 you did this, and I'm actually friends with that person, and they're not a ghost. So, like, why would you not, like, use
They're
your
actually
platform?
a 30-foot penguin living in Florida, so how dare you? Yeah. I don't know.
If you're a hater and you're not using your platform to spread your hate, like, what are you doing? That's my point. Because what is the point of deleting a comment? I don't understand.
I don't know either. And that's why I'm saying, like, I don't know if they deleted it because they were like, oh, this is someone that's self-promoting or something. But I wasn't trying to self-promote. I was trying to invite them on the show. Or if YouTube thought it was just like spam or something and deleted it. I don't know. But they didn't respond to my email either. No, it's a very small channel and it's very active. They upload stuff all the time. So I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's no way they didn't see it. But that's
Explain
fine.
yourself, guys.
That's neither here nor there. We just don't deal well with rejection, as those of you with long time listenership know. We really don't. So if that couple ends up listening to this episode, please know I thought your video was super cool and I would love to interview you. Okay, so I just sent you the final video that I could find of the Spook Light. And this is from the Travel Channel, actually. So the Travel Channel had a series called Legends of the Ozarks, and they went out and they filmed the Spook Light.
Okay, this is uploaded once again, BL for good. Interesting, but yeah, the Spook Light is doing that thing again. It's like this video now has a little more exposure, so I can see more of the landscape, and it's that long road, and at the end of the road, it looks like the moon over the horizon, and then there's like another orb, like moon-like thing that's like flashing above the horizon. It's very strange. It's very strange. And I'm so spooked right now. Like, I want to know more about it. But it doesn't seem nefarious.
It seems like it wants to be seen. It seems like it's individually controlled, right? It's not like somebody's pushing a button and making some drone fly over with a light on it. But what does it want? We do not yet know. I'm not a parent, but I support you bitches that are, including the biggest bitch of them all, Big Mommy Nat. And you want to know what Nat told me about this next sponsor? She said, HIYA Health is a total game changer. Here's something that keeps parents up at night. Our kids are the first generation growing up on ultra-processed foods, and the long-term effects, we're only just beginning to understand. That's exactly why HIYA exists. To give parents a real solution in a market flooded with kids' vitamins that prioritize candy-like appeal over actual nutrition. Some children's vitamins on the market today contain up to 7 grams of sugar per serving and are stuffed with artificial additives and petroleum-based dyes. HIYA took the opposite approach. 0 sugar, 0 gummy additives, just clean nutrition. And the crazy thing? Kids actually love them. Working alongside pediatricians and nutrition scientists, HIYA created a powerful chewable vitamin that packs a blend of 12 organic fruits and veggies plus 15 essential vitamins and minerals into every chewable. We're talking vitamin D, B12, C, zinc, folate, all the foundational nutrients that support immune health, brain function, mood regulation, concentration, and the development of strong teeth and bones. Nat's got 2 boys that are pretty crazy, and even they love HIYA. Also, HIYA just launched something brand new. If your kids are active and growing, adding in a clean protein powder with added minerals designed just for kids might be exactly what they need. HIYA's new Kids Daily Growth Plus Protein is a total game changer. It's more than a protein shake, it's a Purity-awarded, clean protein powder with added minerals and healthy fats that mixes right into water, smoothies, and more to support muscle development and cognition to fuel everything they've got going on. We've worked out a special deal with HIYA. Receive 50% off your first order on any of their products. To claim this deal, you must go to hiyahealth.com/haunted. This deal is not available on their regular website. So go to hiyahealth.com/haunted and get your kids the full body support they deserve. So I just sent you a Facebook thread that you're also going to see me having commented all over, asking to interview people. For those of you who don't know, I would say 1 out of every 15 people that we reach out to actually responds and wants to be interviewed. So you've got to cast a wide net. But before you read those, I want to read some YouTube comments that I found on some of these videos that you were just watching. This one comes from Eagleman1542, who says, "My grandparents went on dates just after World War I in the Quapaw area and often went to the Spook Light locale. That was long before there were any cars whatsoever, and they saw the light with great regularity, so forget about any skeptic theories about someone shining a light or a car shining a light." At Shelley Clark 1933 says, "I have a brother-in-law that lives by Spook Light Road. He has sent us videos of it moving in the trees. It does reflect light and it makes shadows." At Martin Schultz 9381 says, "Some guys I worked with from that area told me that when they were kids, the spook light routinely was low to the ground and dancing around and has since moved up higher." At Kinney Ford 1458 says, "I saw it numerous times back in the mid-1970s. I remember being there during the 4th of July one year and guys shooting bottle rockets at it, and I swear to you the spook light dodged them. This was maybe 100 yards off. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely real and been reported since the mid to late 1800s in the same basic location long before there were cars or street lights." At Patrick Buchel 2599 says, "Looking at it with magnified night vision, it is not attached to anything. I was using a 3rd gen NV monocular and could tell." At Caddyman7725 says, "After trying to see it on and off since 1991, I finally got to see it in 2021. We parked on the road and one of the people in our group started to get out, but stopped when she saw shadow people. We then heard strange noises, like something running in the woods trying to keep up with us as we were driving. Then we saw the spook light, and it seemed to follow us. but when we turned around to chase it, it would disappear. A friend of mine would tell me the story of finding a witch down there if you went down the wrong road. I used to think he was making that up, but after my Spook Light sighting in 2021, I'm not so sure anymore. I can tell you that it can't be man-made for 2 reasons. This has been going on when the Native Americans were there. And if it were a car, wouldn't everyone see it every night? But I'm telling you, I've been trying to see it since 1991, and I only just now saw it.
Dude, that email was crazy. I've got the chills from that email. Oh my god. Like, now there's a witch down there lore? Like, what's happened?
I mean, the Ozarks do have some cool lore. It's sort of like Appalachia, I think, where it has its own unique culture and folklore. And so I think we should do an episode on Ozark folklore sometime, because it does seem like there's just a lot of interesting belief systems. I was reading, I don't want to get too bogged down, but I went down an Ozark folklore rabbit hole, and there was all these things about necromancy and potion selling and grind up a dead man's finger to do this and put stuff on, I don't even remember. It was all these things for warding off spirits or calling upon spirits, and I was like, what am I reading right now? And so then I had to exit because I was like, I have to focus on the Spook Light or I'm not going to get this episode done.
Yeah, we definitely save that fat you trimmed off for another episode, because that sounds fascinating to me. And I'm like, why don't I know more of this? The superstitions that we have in Oklahoma about the Ozarks, or we just think that they're hillbillies and that they're it's you know what I'm talking about? That movie.
Yeah, the Beverly Hillbillies, right? Is that what you're talking about? Where they came from Oklahoma during the Dust Bowl from the Ozarks, and then they come to California because they strike it rich with oil, and then they move to Beverly Hills, but they're hillbilly folk.
I'm familiar with the show, The Beverly Hillbillies, but no, I was talking about a different movie. I can't remember what it's called. It's got this iconic banjo, and they're these crazy hillbillies in the woods that yeah, I don't know. It's a long story. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, please comment, because now I feel crazy. But that's the only thing we think about from Oklahoma. And I think Oklahoma is probably seen as hillbillies by the rest of the country. So if Oklahoma's calling you hillbillies, that's some next level hillbillying.
All right, so I'm going to read. So there is a Facebook group called Route 66 Postcards. And this account will just post lots of interesting lore about the Route 66 corridor. And so I'm going to read this post. This was posted October 6, 2021. Quote, just south of Route 66 at Joplin, Missouri and near Oklahoma, a paranormal early night light phenomenon has been occurring since at least 1881. This Ozarks lore has been called Spook Light and other names. Here is an early postcard pamphlet cover of the Tri-State Spook Light. An older photo of women observing the light are posted here too. No one has ever been able to explain the light, and it continues today. A quick history is below. Bobbing and bouncing along a dirt road in northeast Oklahoma is the Hornet Spook Light, a paranormal enigma for more than a century. Described most often as an orange ball of light, the orb travels from east to west along a 4-mile gravel road, long called the Devil's Promenade by area locals. The Spook Light, often referred to as the Joplin Spook Light or the Tri-State Spook Light, is actually in Oklahoma near the small town of Quapaw. However, it is most often seen from the east, which is why it has been attached to the tiny hamlet of Hornet, Missouri, and the larger, better-known town of Joplin. According to the legend, the Spook Light was first seen by Native Americans along the infamous Trail of Tears in 1836. However, the first official report occurred in 1881 in a publication called the Ozark Spooklight. The ball of fire, described as varying from the size of a baseball to a basketball, dances and spins down the center of the road at high speeds, rising and hovering above the treetops before it retreats and disappears. Others have said it sways from side to side, like a lantern being carried by some invisible force. In any event, the orange fire-like ball has reportedly been appearing nightly for well over 100 years. According to locals, the best time to view the spook light is between the hours of 10 p.m. and midnight and tends to shy away from large groups and loud sounds. Okay, so now if we go down to the comments, I'm just going to read a few in quick succession. Terry Gracie says, "We lived in Miami for a few years and saw it. We had many friends that saw it and said it went right through their car." Helen Kay says, "I have watched it bounce from car to car. Then it has stopped long enough to light up the interior of the car. This was 1957 to 58. Madeline M. says, "I am an Idaho girl with deep Missouri roots. The story of the spook light is something I grew up with. When I got to go to Missouri for a visit, that was on my list of must-sees, and I was not disappointed. So cool." Ralph H. says, "I saw it many times in the 1950s. It really does exist." Bobby H. says, "We live right up the road. It makes an appearance in our woods and in our backyard. Love seeing it show up." Chatty C. says, "I have been there a few times. It is very scary. It will be in front of you, go out, and pop up big right behind you. Pretty neat." What do you think of these so far, Natalia?
Wow. I just wonder, why did so many people see it in the 50s? Was that just like the thing to do at the time? Yeah.
I think so. And also, I think more people were living in the area during that time because during World War II, there was a nearby fort or army camp that was like set up in the area. And so I think people were probably still, in the area in the 50s. Okay. Whereas now I think the population's dropped a little bit.
Wow. I mean, listening to those, I really just want to go try to see if I can see it or not. Because that's crazy to me to think that there would be a light that would come into your car.
I know. And there's literally, if you scroll on that thread, there are hundreds of comments of all these people saying, "Oh, I saw it in the 70s. Yeah, I saw it in the 60s. Oh, I saw it in the 50s. Oh, my grandpa told me stories about it. Oh, my aunt told me stories about it. Oh, it's a blue light. No, it's blue and then it turns orange. Oh, no, it's orange and then it turns white. Oh, I felt it. It came so close to my car. It was like white hot. Oh, it went through my car. It landed on top of my car. It came really close to me. Oh, it hangs out in my backyard. I live on a nearby street." Like, it's crazy. Everybody has a story about it. So I just sent you a link to a Reddit thread. This is r/Joplin, Missouri. And a user going by the name DJ Valance posted 3 years ago saying, "Anyone from Joplin have any cool spook light stories?" And so do you just want to scroll down and just read maybe like the top 3 comments? Or
sure,
4? Let's do 4. Let's do the top 4.
This one is from XX Ceres XX. Back in the early 80s, there was an old dilapidated trailer at the T at the beginning of the Spook Light Road, BB Highway. Looking at the place, it hadn't been lived in for 30 or 40 years. No stairs and the grass was overgrown to your neck. The worst condition you could think of. We were walking around the property, peeking in the windows, and in the living room there was a figure sitting in a low chair. And they looked like they had a long rifle laid across their lap. I thought we were done for, and it was about that time that I started to smell it. That sickly sweet smell of decaying flesh that sits in the back of your throat. My brother went around and pushed the front door open, and what we found was, I guess, used to be an old scarecrow with a broomstick over his lap. The smell was coming from a dog and her litter of puppies that were trapped in a room with a blocked doorway. I never went back. What? Hold on. There was like a dead dogs? What?
Yeah, so this person went to try to see the spook light, and they were just, a lot of the, like I said, a lot of the homes in this area are kind of like old and run down and abandoned. There are some that people still live in. You can see on Google Street View, like, stuff change year to year, but they went up to one of the trailers that looked like it was abandoned, and they looked through the window, and they thought there was just a dead guy with a rifle on his lap. So then they open they open the door, and they see it's actually a dead dog with its puppies that just couldn't get out. And there's like a weird old scarecrow with a broomstick across its lap. But what's interesting about this is that
I hate that. Why do I have to know that? Why? Okay.
But it's interesting because a lot of the stories that don't have to do with the spook light that come from this area are about, like, oh, there's a witch that lives in that trailer down the road. Oh, there's somebody consorting with the devil in that trailer. Oh, there's a guy that died under mysterious circumstances in this trailer. And then there's, like, a weird ritualistic scarecrow with a broom. Like, why is it propped up in a chair next to a dead dog? The man in the fields. Oh my God, guys, no time to explain. You're going to have to go listen to, nobody even knows at this point, but The Man in the Fields. You can just go to and search it. Man in the Fields, Let's Get Haunted, you'll find it. Okay, if you want to read the next one.
This one is by Quiblo-san. I've seen it. We went probably 50 times in high school, and we always saw something off in the distance. Weren't sure if it were a yard light or headlights being moved through blowing trees. One night, we saw it, though. We got out of the car and walked down a gravel side road for a few minutes, and it was there. It's a basketball-sized orb that moved in roughly figure eights and about 10 feet off the ground. I kept looking at it, thinking it was being projected by something, but it lit up the ground underneath it. I don't know what it is, and we had to shut our phones off first. I understand how all this sounds, but what they're talking about is real. I don't know what it is, but the descriptions are talking... Okay, hold on. I don't know what it is, but the descriptions are talking about something that is real in some sense. Just like that guy's perspective. He's
like just repeating the same sentence twice. Yeah.
He just seemed like a monologue from like the beginning of a scary movie. You know, he was like, we saw it out there. It's real. Yeah, what they say is true. It's out there. It is,
a shark's eyes. They're black like a doll's eyes. Yeah, it's like giving old weathered sea captain that you see on the pier or something, and you're not even talking to them, and they just come up next to you and they're like, yes, I once saw the sea serpent. And you're like, what? Who the fuck are you? What are you talking about? Yeah. It's giving local
someone
historian.
Responded, though. Let me read what they responded. Someone responded, Lexi Morgan 2506. I seen something similar about a year ago. Usually I see the ball off in the distance, but this time we were headed right in the direction of it. It popped up between two small hills at the bottom between them. It absolutely couldn't have been any headlights, nor were there houses or anything right there or street poles. A white ball appeared about 50 yards in front of me and my fiancé, a yellow basketball-sized orb. It looked like a ball of fire. I watched it do figure eights, sideways, and then it flickered away for a moment and then popped back up, and there was a red ball next to it as well. They started doing figure eights around each other, almost like they were dancing. It was absolutely beautiful. As soon as our headlights hit it and we got closer, it just poofed. Absolutely insane. Wow. Okay, this one looks great. I'll read this one. This is a long one, guys. It's by Kalu0912. Myself and two of my friends in college went out there one night. Our friend was trying to turn around after getting freaked out. Well, he messed up and we ended up with a car in the ditch out there. Front driver's side tire and rear passenger tires were on the ground. The other two were not touching. So, of course, it wasn't giving us any traction to get out. We tried pushing and just was not getting anywhere. This was just as cell phones were starting to be as prevalent as they are now, so none of us had any service in that area. We couldn't even call 911 at that time. Wasn't a mandated thing for all phones to be able to call 911 till a few months after this event happened. So we started walking, all three of us, 2 girls and 1 guy wandering down the road, probably close to 3 a.m. at this point. Our nerves were getting to us, so we were singing at the top of our lungs. We came to the first house we saw and had a light on, but as soon as we got close to it and dogs started barking and growling at us, we moved on. Next house down the road, the truck parked out front had a fire rescue sticker in the back, so we knocked on that door. A guy came running to the door with a shotgun in hand and just his boxers on. We explained the situation and he agreed to take his truck and try to tow it out. So we wait for a few minutes for him to get dressed, load up in the bed of his truck, and show him where the car is. We get it all hooked up and he starts to pull it, only for it to do absolutely nothing. So he tries to pull it from the side, hoping to get it twisted enough that the tires end up on the ground and we can finally get some gas to it and get out. That was a no-go either. Finally, we were all stumped. He's tired, we're tired and frustrated. He offers to drive us up to the truck stops at 43 and I-44 so we can call a wrecker, which is what the situation called for at this point. So we load up in the bed of the truck again, offer him some cash for gas, which he refused, and headed off into the night. We ended up calling a wrecker to come get the car out of the ditch. Thankfully, no major damage occurred, and the car was drivable. By this time, the sun is rising, so my 2 friends and I went to IHOP and sat there, bleary-eyed, but laughing about the whole thing. I still swear up and down that we saw something out there that night, which is what spooked my friend driving in the first place, which made him want to turn around. What the fuck? That was the worst story! Are you serious? Are you serious, dude? You just told us a random, unfucking related story?
I want to comment on this and say that was a bad story, but I won't do it. You guys, the number of times I have to resist the urge on Reddit to leave comments telling people that they suck at storytelling when I'm, like, combing through things.
Dude, that is so annoying to me. It was, and then it had like an M. Night Shyamalan twist to the end where it was like, actually, the friend was spooked by the orb at the beginning, and you read the whole story thinking you were gonna hear more about the orb, but that was the only detail. It was actually just like atmospheric writing where you have to fill in it with your imagination. Anyways.
Oh, man. Okay, well, let me read
one
you...
more?
No, because it looks like it only gets worse. Who are these people that live in Joplin, Missouri that use Reddit? Okay, anyway.
Just reminiscing on old times.
And then I had really good sex with my girlfriend in the car in the ditch, and then I swear there was something out there that night.
Then little Timmy reached over, and he tried out his sexuality with me that night. That night, I learned I might be what they called a homosexual.
Yeah.
Like, who are these people? Have they ever been on the internet?
Literally, I don't know. It's giving elderly is what it is. Like, someone who wants to reminisce, but about something that nobody cares about. Okay,
like,
so
I was so invested too. I was like, wait, like in my mind picturing, I was like, wait, there's 2 tires on the ground, the driver's in the rear. Like, I was setting it all up in my imagination because I thought there was gonna be a payoff. Anyways, I'm pissed. That just
no
used up
payoff.
some magnesium
Okay,
in my brain.
let's try to pretend that wasn't a waste of time, guys. And let's say let's say we intentionally chose that comment because it shows the type of people that live along this area, right? We've got a guy in boxers with a shotgun. We've got possibly an old witch doing magic. We've got a scarecrow that's set up like an effigy inside of an old trailer with a broomstick and a rotting dog. Like, you know, there's some character out there. Why is the orb hanging out in this area? So let's do some other firsthand accounts. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the website legendsofamerica.com. It's a great website. They cover a lot of like niche urban legends around the US. And if you go to legendsofamerica.com/mo/spooklight, you can read exactly what I'm going to read to you now. There is an article here written by Kathy Alexander for Legends of America. It says it was updated in March of 2026, which was just a couple months ago. I'm not sure when it was originally written, it doesn't say. But the point is they updated the story with some emails that they received from people who wrote in about their experience with the Spook Light. Reader Rin Hunter writes, as a resident of Joplin, Missouri for nearly all my life, before moving to Carthage within this year, I had heard stories of the Spook Light throughout my childhood. Being that I was able to see and understand things, albeit I was just a child, this better not suck, albeit I was just a child who didn't know better, my mom said I had an imaginary friend, but who's to say that was a family member? Or maybe something even more sinister. In 2020, my mom and I made a pact to start a YouTube channel. Oh no, this is gonna suck. And it will be themed around the supernatural/paranormal. We went to a few graveyards and places that we were told were haunted, and let me tell you, they didn't disappoint. We decided since it was nearing Halloween that we were going to go to the Spook Light. Okay, we're getting to the point. that we were going to go to the Spook Light. It was the perfect night to do it, as it was a full moon. This was after trick-or-treating had come to a stop, which you didn't see much of since COVID was bad around that time. We get to the destination and we're sitting in the car. We pull up a bit further than most. When traveling down that road, there's a forest of trees to the right, and we stop just when that ends. We turned off the car, cracked the windows, and just stared dead ahead. At first, nothing really happened, but I asked my mom to flash her lights a few times. I'm not sure why it happened, but it seemed to have called out to the spirit or spirits that are the Spook Light. The light seemed faint at first, but you could see it. You could tell it was real. The light remained near The light remained near the ground and danced from one side to the other. It glowed a bit brighter, but nothing super strange. Then it seemed to disappear after 5 to 10 minutes, and as we left, I spotted the light within my side mirror, but it soon faded after that. From 2020 to 2023, we had probably gone 20 or so times. Each time we brought someone new with us, especially people who had never been, because new faces, new energies could shake things up for us. And how right we were. One night, 2021, we went, taking a family member who was completely new to it all. We got to our exact spot, turned off the car, flicked the headlights 3 times, and waited in the dark. Roughly 15 minutes later, something that had never happened before happened. As we watched, dead ahead, 2 lights came into view. And we thought, car? We waited longer, about 5 minutes, and during those 5 minutes, no car came down the road. Now, we know that it could be debunked. Perhaps they turned off to one of the many side roads or driveways. However, it didn't make any sense. Not to us. When no car came into sight, we started our car and began a slow drive down the road. As we approached the area where the Spook Light is seen, it was no longer visible. We all looked at one another for a split second. Where we were at and where those 2 lights were was just at the end of one hill and the start of the other before it slopes back down. There were no driveways in that area. It made no sense. We thought we were crazy. A few weeks after the incident, we went back, giving the Spook Light breaks between our visits. It just felt right. This time would be no different than the last. We arrived, parked in our normal spot, flicked our lights 3 times, and sat in total darkness. We had brought some people with us who were a tad skeptical. Believed, but didn't believe. We expressed what—
Who are these people writing these comments? What side of the internet is this? Are we in the fucking alternate universe? How have I never encountered people on Reddit like this in my entire life?
I have never, ever in my life.
Are these bots talking to each other, like pretending to be humans?
It's not done yet. Hold on, I'm almost done.
What the fuck?
We expressed what happened last time to them, and they wanted to see for themselves. We had probably been there for about 5 to 10 minutes when we saw the Spook Light in its glory. Little did we know. Little did we know it would repeat exactly what had happened last time. 2 lights that looked like vehicle lights appeared on the opposite side of us near the Spook Light, bright white with a yellow glow around them. Again. Car? We said, questioning it, unaware that we were once again being graced with a sign.
What the hell? Dude, I am literally baffled. What is the name of this subreddit? Like, where in the internet? Let me just go check this link you just sent again to just make sure that this is the real Reddit.
No, it's not Reddit.
This is the Joplin, Missouri?
No, it's legendsofamerica.com.
I've never heard of this website before. Like, you were like, yeah, the very esteemed legendsofamerica.com. Okay, so this is not Reddit.
No, this is legendsofamerica.com.
Oh, okay, so this makes sense then. I was like, where the fuck in the internet are we right now? Like, are we in the same galaxy, you know?
Hold on, I gotta finish the story to tell you there might be an M. Night Shyamalan payoff at the end. Okay, here we go.
Okay. In all its glory. Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to try not to laugh. Hold on. Let's get through this. Again, car, we said, questioning it, unaware that we were once again being graced with a sight I've not heard many others speak about in their stories. No car came down that road after the two lights appeared, lined up perfectly as if it were really a car. You'd think it ends there, right? Absolutely not. In 2022, we decided to go...
What is this website?
I don't know why I'm laughing. I feel like I'm in a fit of mania. Hold on. In 2022, we decided to go again, and this time it was definitely different. We arrived at our normal spot, flicked our lights, and sat in the darkness of the night. Now, upon arriving at the Spook Light, I can tell you we were already seeing it in the distance as we traveled down the road to our destination. It also felt different, too. We had been there so many times before, but something felt strange. The light came on a few minutes after we sat in the darkness. We kept hearing odd noises, and off to the right on a piece of property, we saw another light. It zoomed between the trees and just disappeared. It was odd. Nothing was making sense. And then we sat there watching the light some more. I felt a chill run down my spine as the light seemed to be getting closer to us. It was as if something else were there, toying with us. Never in the number of times we had gone did this ever happen to us. Finally, this year, we went in September, the start of fall, the start of spooky things, and you could just feel it in the air. Upon arrival, we could see it in the distance, and as we got closer, it grew brighter. The incidents that happened before didn't happen again, but it definitely felt strange to see it act so normal. After hearing stories of it going into the trees, something I had never witnessed myself, but seeing something no one else has reported that I know of, just seemed not only cool, but definitely strange. From Ren Hunter, October 2023.
Dude, I just realized that I feel so bad for therapists. Like, they just have to sit on the couch and fucking listen to people's boring ass, regular, fucking not interesting lives. Like, that sucks. I'm sorry, person. I'm sure you're great. Joplin, Missouri.
I'm not.
Whatever.
I'm not sure you're great. I think you need to take a writing class. But, you know.
No, but that's the thing. It's like, what if that is literally the most exciting thing that ever happened to them? And they just keep telling the same story over and over and over again.
I mean, this is what I'll say, and I'll say that anyone out there who's listening right now that wants to write into a paranormal website to tell your encounter, let me tell you what the people want. The people want your paranormal encounter. Yeah, they don't want that you're starting a YouTube channel with your mom. They don't want that you had an imaginary friend as a child. That has nothing to do with the Spook Light. They want to know. This is an article about the Spook Light. So let's skip that and let's just talk about the Spook Light, guys. All right, I just sent you a short reader's story that's on the same website, and then we're gonna get into the theories soon. I'm just buying time right now.
Okay. Reader's story from Hornet, Missouri. I saw on your list of most haunted places the name of a place close to my heart. The Spook Light at Hornet, Missouri. My great-uncle, Garland Middleton, owned a museum there for many years. He inherited the nickname Spooky from the former owner. The Spook Light has been studied by scientists from all over the Corps of Engineers, and many more people for over 100 years, and it has never been explained. I have seen it lots of times myself. I've seen it split into 4 glowing balls, turn red then blue, and then disappear. It'll be in front of you, then disappear, and then be behind you. It literally went through cars. Sometimes it comes out, sometimes it doesn't. The best time to see it is after midnight when it's really quiet. They tried to close the road to the public several years ago. Talk about a 4-state uproar. It's still open. The story goes back to Indian days. Submitted by Diane Melton, October 2005. This episode is reminding me of Coochie's key lime pie.
It is. Okay, here's the very last one.
A reader's story about the Spook Light in Oklahoma. My name is Jackie, and I grew up in Quantipa, Oklahoma, attending grade school and high school through 10th grade before we moved. Okay, sorry, that was too real. I feel like I was embodying a spirit of this woman, and then I got scared. Okay, my father grew up with the light, and I would have to say I saw the spook light at least 175 times, if not more, while I lived there in the 1960s. There used to be an old bar near Spook Light Road where my dad would take us when we had company from out of town. We kids loved to go there, play pool, and listen to the old man who owned the bar tell us stories about the light. Often we would sit outside in the car to watch for the spook light. We had to be really quiet or it would not come out. As we watched, all of a sudden it would appear at the other end of the road. My dad would leave his lights out and try to creep up on it, but always, by the time we got near the light, it would suddenly be behind us. It was a regular tradition for our family to attend the Indian powwows on the 4th of July. On one of these occasions, after we left the powwow, we went to my aunt's house, which was right off Spook Light Road. As we were driving there at about 10 p.m., a light came up behind us, weaving back and forth across the road like a drunk. My mom insisted that we pull over and let the car pass. However, as soon as we did, the light took off across the land. I've seen it as a large white light with a small green one below it, and it sometimes appears as a red or yellow-orange orb. I believe at one time Reader's Digest ran a story in the late 1950s or early 1960s. On another occasion, my father took all our friends and me out to the country, where we had such a bizarre experience it would make you believe almost anything. At this place, there was a fence upon the land where an Indian and his wife were said to have been killed by a white man. According to the legend, the Indian stated before he died that he and his wife would always be around. At the fence, Dad told us hold our hands out with a piece of bread over the fence. Suddenly, we would feel something taking the bread from our hands. Even with a flashlight, you could see that it was there one second and the bread was gone the next. This was very scary to me at the time. As I grew older, my dates always took me to Spook Light Road, and when along the way, we'd cross the Spring River Bridge, its wooden structure rocking side to side so badly I was frightened before we even reached Spook Light Road. I always saw the light appear near Quapaw, Oklahoma. I don't know if it is the same now as it was back then, so I will be making plans to go home to Quapaw, Oklahoma to see it again. My Aunt Mary... Okay, what? We're getting off track here again. All right, hold on. My Aunt Mary, who was raised with me, will go with me. It will be fun as we will talk about our old stories and try to find the light again. Submitted by Jackie Oliver, June 2005. Jackie, that was better.
That was better.
But what's wrong with y'all? Like, there's parts of that are heat. Like, what do you mean you put bread on the fence and then it got spirited away, and even a flashlight would show it getting spirited away? Like, what do you mean? Like, you always went there and the lights would end up behind you, or what? There was interesting things in there, but like, I don't need to know about your aunt and like going home and all that.
Yeah, we don't want you to humanize yourself. We just want the entertainment. I'm going to be honest with you. So we're going to move on to the theories, but just before doing so, I wanted to highlight all of the things that people say they see on Spook Light Road. So obviously, we have tons of people that are seeing strange balls of light. Natalia, what do the people say the balls of light do in all the stories that we've read?
They like twinkle, they hover, they go sideways, they do figure eights, and then they end up behind you.
Yeah, they go through the car, they land on the car, they come up super close to you, they run away from you, they appear in the distance, they disappear, they spin, they twinkle, they shoot up into the sky, they blink. People also say they see shadow people in the area, especially lurking amongst the trees that line the side of the road. They also say that they hear noises of people running or chasing their cars as they drive towards the spook light, and that causes some people to panic and drive faster or to just turn around and leave before they even see the spook light. And there was also a surprisingly large amount of people, as I was scrolling through the Facebook comments especially, that were talking about how they often see black cats on the road that are just sitting in the middle of the road staring at the cars that come along, and then the cars have to stop because they're going to run over the black cat. And the black cat will just literally stare at them super creepily and then eventually walk off to the side. And what was interesting about that one, I know, what's interesting about that one is there were multiple people on that Facebook thread that had stories of black cats in the middle of Spook Light Road over multiple decades. So like somebody would be like, yeah, I saw one in the late 1950s. And someone else would be like, no, I saw one in the 1960s. Oh, I saw a black cat there in the 1970s. Oh, I saw a black cat there last week. And so some people think because there are rumors of like witches in the area, maybe it's a familiar, like a witch's familiar, or maybe it's the cat, like the animal morphs into the witch later. Maybe the witch becomes the cat. I don't know, but it seems to be related that there's all these different paranormal phenomena happening around the spook light. So now we get into part 3, the theories. Theory number 1, the spook light is the spirit of an Osage chief. The Osage Nation refers to a federally recognized Native American tribe consisting of people indigenous to the Great Plains of the Midwestern United States. Originally from the Ohio and Mississippi River valleys, the Osage were feared by neighboring tribes for their cunning and courage. The earliest surviving accounts of the Osage, written by settlers and missionaries, described them as, quote, the tallest people in the region, with many measuring at taller than 6 feet and some as tall as 7 feet. By the late 19th century, the Osage were forced by the United States to move from modern-day Kansas into, quote-unquote, Indian territory in present-day Oklahoma, and the majority of their descendants still live in Oklahoma today. And the name Osage actually comes from the French words for calm water, whereas the Osage actually refer to themselves as the Wajaji, which means middle waters. Natalia, have you ever seen the movie Killers of the Flower Moon with Leonardo DiCaprio and Lily Gladstone?
I don't know. Is that like a 90s movie?
No, it came out fairly recently, maybe 2023, 4?
No, I have not.
So it's a historical crime drama, but it's based on a nonfiction book about what happened when the Osage people discovered oil on their land in Oklahoma in the 20th century. This discovery made them some of the richest people per capita in the entire world, but it also put a target on their backs. Con men, lawyers, ranchers, and businessmen flocked to Osage County to try to get a piece of that wealth by finding covert ways to murder those who had oil rights and then take them over. This would come to be known as the Reign of Terror and is considered one of the most horrific modern examples of American greed and brutality against indigenous peoples. According to local folklore, in this area of Oklahoma, the Ozark Spooklight is actually the manifestation of the spirit of an Osage chief who was murdered during the Reign of Terror in the 1920s. The legend goes that just as the Osage were courageous, fierce, and cunning in life, so do they remain in death. While the murderous settlers and con artists who flocked to the county in the 1920s hoped to snuff out the spirit of the Osage, they did not realize that they were actually just creating a new problem. In traditional beliefs, the land of the living and the dead are said to be intertwined, and spirits of those who have passed on can still be accessed by the living. In fact, there are many stories of those who participated in the Reign of Terror being cursed by ghosts and eventually losing all the money that they had murdered for. What do you think of that, Natalia?
That's crazy. That could be its own episode. Ooh, that's yeah. Very spooky, and I didn't know that. I feel like that's a high probability, actually, now thinking. It's interesting because, like, this is a paranormal phenomena. Like you said, it's kind of like a cryptid in the area, more than like a ghost or a spirit. But I feel like that can kind of embody, like, a Native American chief, because they are sort of, like, live off of the land in the same way that, like, a cryptid would, you know, compared to the ghost of, I don't know, somebody else. I feel like that's a big part of Native American indigenous practices, like animism, right? Like giving like a spirit to nature, like, oh, this tree has a spirit, like the ground has a spirit, like there's the corn has its own spirit. So maybe, like, yeah, why not?
And it is one of the more popular theories that is expressed through the local folklore. A lot of people think it's a Native American spirit, and people disagree about whether or not it's a spirit of this chief, or in a second I'll tell you about some other spirits that might be associated with this light. But if for those who haven't seen Killers of the Flower Moon, by the way, I think it's a really, really good movie. It's Leonardo DiCaprio is one of the white settlers. He comes in, he marries an Osage woman who has oil rights, and then calamity ensues. But yeah, it's crazy that it's based on a true story, because when I first watched it, I was like, wow, that was a really good movie. I wonder how they came up with the plot. Like, that's so interesting and unique. And then I was Googling it and I was like, oh my God, this really happened. Like, that's crazy. Yeah, like people would come in and they would find creative ways. Like a lawyer would say, oh, well, since you're so rich now, we'll set up a will, like a living will. And then the person signing it wouldn't realize that they're giving the rights to the lawyer. And then the lawyer would just murder the person and take over the rights. Or a businessman would come in and be like, oh, I'm going to help you get your oil business up and running, and then murder the person and take over the rights. Or I'm going to go in business with you and we're going to be partners in this, and don't worry, you'll retain like 90% and I'll only take 10, and then again murder the person and get 100. Or marry somebody and then murder them and take that. You know, it's just insane that really did happen. And then I just sent you a clip from the 1920s taken by Eugene Standing Bear of the Osage. And this is footage in Oklahoma of what it was like during this time of wealth for the Osage Nation in Oklahoma. And I think it's so cool. Like, this footage needs to be seen.
Images from Pawhuska, Oklahoma in the 1920s and 30s. Thanks to rare home movies, we can see downtown bustling again. We can meet the town's leading citizens from long ago. And we can relive the excitement when a circus came to town. These motion pictures were taken by an Indian, Eugene Standing Bear, an amateur cameraman.
Eugene was one of the first Osage men that had a movie camera.
Mr. Standing Bear is deceased, but his granddaughter, Meg Jennings, kept his films for years in a closet.
I kept them in a box just full of other belongings that were my dad's in my closet.
Since she didn't have a projector, she never viewed the films and brought them to us. We put the vintage movies onto video for Meg and her mother Barbara to see.
That's Grandpa.
There's Eugene.
That's my grandpa.
The one that was filming.
Right there.
There he is again. There he's the one that was doing the filming.
Many of Eugene Standing Bear's films show Osage Indians, a tribe that he married into. The Osage were once the richest Indians in America because of the oil discovered on their land.
People seem to have this belief that Indians are in teepees and on horseback, but in actuality, they wore the finest clothes, drove the finest cars.
The money also helped them afford movie film. Eugene Standing Bear had his camera rolling during a football game at Tulsa's McNulty Field. It was once the city's main football and baseball stadium downtown at 11th and Elgin, close to where the Home Depot is today. He also got movies of a popular Indian pastime.
I have no idea.
As a matter of fact, I think they call that shinny. They're ground hockey.
Some Pawhuska parades were also captured on film back when the roads were dirt.
People in the United States love parades. Every small town had a parade and a float at the least excuse.
When he was taking these movies, Mr. Standing Bear had no idea his films would last 70 years and would end up on something called TV, but they did. And they give us a window into the past.
You know, these are priceless memories to me and to the children and to the grandchildren.
That is so cool. That just gives me like almost the chills of just the quality of the film is really good. And that's how you know how wealthy these people were, because they were able to basically, like, that would be like a Hollywood production almost, like having that kind of camera with that film at the time. Yeah, wow. And it's interesting because there really are small towns like that left in Oklahoma. Like, whenever I would have to drive through parts of the state, like, you know, going towards the Ozarks and stuff, you would go through these tiny towns where literally, like, it's like one stoplight, one stop sign, and then there's like a tiny post office that has like hitches out of the front where you could put your horse on. And there's still places like that. And like, yeah, on Friday nights when the local high school has a football game, there's like a parade that goes through of all the seniors, you know, that are wearing their like spirit wear and stuff. And like the whole town comes out to watch. There's still places like that. There's like, yeah, like local football hero. That's such a huge thing in Oklahoma. I remember my friend, she used to always date these like losers. And I would be like, why the fuck? Like, what the fuck do you see in this guy? And she'd be like, well, you know, he's from Podok City or whatever, and he's the quarterback there. Like, that fucking mattered, you know? Like,
yeah.
That's
funny. Yeah, and one of the reasons why I wanted to like spend a little bit of time kind of talking about what the Osage looked like in the 1920s and what they were up to is because part of this lore of the Spook Light is, so remember, the Osage were forcibly marched into this part of Oklahoma to quote unquote be resettled. And so as they were crossing Spring River, which several people talked about in their personal accounts where they say like, oh, I was so nervous, I was already scared just going over Spring River. As they were marching over Spring River, they were said to have looked up at the bluffs, at the cliffs, at those cairns or whatever they were called. Karsts. And they saw the devil pacing back and forth on the top of the cliff. Okay, so we've got devil lore, we've got witch lore, we've got black cats, we've got the spook lights, we've got people being forcibly resettled. They see a bad omen up above on the mountain. Okay, they're probably thinking to themselves, like, this is fucking horrible. You know, I've just got marched here. I probably lost some people along the way. And I now have to start over. Oh my God, I have oil rights. Holy shit. Like, you know, okay, everything's going to be okay. We're going to figure this out. We're now the richest people per capita in the world. Okay, here comes along some con men and people with bad intentions, and they come and they start murdering people so that they can try to get the oil rights. And so it's just crazy, I guess is my point. It's like in such a small, unassuming part of the country, so much happened. Like there's some good with people becoming wealthy, you know, and then there's people being murdered and being forced to go live there. And the Osage, by the way, if anyone was wondering, they are no longer the wealthiest group per capita in the world. Obviously, I'm sure we all know that now, but the tribe, the nation in general, does still get some subsurface oil and gas royalties, just in case anyone was wondering. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. There's just so much going on here. And then another variation of this same legend of the light being an Osage chief that was murdered takes it a step further, saying that the murdered chief was decapitated and his body now wanders the area with a glowing lantern in his hand as he looks for his missing head. So, could the Ozark Spooklight be the physical manifestation of one or more Osage people persisting in the land of the living? That's what many people in the area have chosen to believe. But that is not the only Native American connection with the Spooklight. Theory number 2 is that the light is the spirit of 2 drowned lovers. This theory has its roots in a different nation located in the area, the Quapaw. According to tribal histories and linguistic evidence, the Quapaw descended from the same ancestors as the Osage, and they both once lived together in the Ohio Valley region before migrating westward and down the Mississippi River, splitting off from each other at different points. The Quapaw reportedly went the furthest downstream, which is where their name is thought to have come from, Quapaw meaning downstream people. According to the official website of Joplin, Missouri, one of the oldest local legends surrounding the origins of the Ozark Spooklight comes from a tragic love story. According to this piece of local folklore, a young Quapaw woman fell deeply in love with a warrior from another tribe, but her father forbade the marriage because the young man was too poor. Allegedly, in Quapaw tradition, marriages involved family negotiations and were often socially or politically motivated, so it would make sense for a well-off family to not want their daughter marrying into a poor one. Refusing to be separated from each other, the couple then fled together into the night, hoping to escape before they could be caught. But before they could get far, a group of warriors was sent after them. Realizing they were about to be captured, the lovers reportedly clasped their hands and threw themselves into the dark waters of the Spring River rather than be forced apart. Not long afterward, locals began reporting two strange glowing lights drifting through the surrounding countryside at night, sometimes even appearing to play with each other, dancing and encircling each other in the night sky, and darting in and out of the river and trees. Many believed the mysterious orbs were the restless spirits of this doomed couple, forever wandering the hills and back roads where they spent their final moments. What do you think of that one, Natalia?
I mean, that sucks. That's sad. But I feel like that's more likely than the chief now, because the way that they were like dancing around each other. I was trying to think how it could be the chief. I was like, well, maybe the two lights are like him taking his head off, like lifting it off his head. And then every time he puts it back on, it turns off. And then every time he separates it, it turns on. And that's what the flashing is. But no, this lovers, like doomed lovers trope is very cute.
It's very Romeo and Juliet. Like, we'd rather be together in death than not together and living. I do want to say, because I don't want people to think I'm like ignorant to this. It's hard to know with some of these local legends if they've been whitewashed or if they are true to an actual piece of Native American legend. This particular area of Oklahoma has a lot of people who have Quapaw ancestry or Osage ancestry, even if they are white presenting. And so I saw a lot of commentary online where people were like, no, I heard this story growing up. But then you'd get someone commenting back and being like, right, but you're not even part of the nation. Like, you don't live on the reservation. So you probably heard that from your white side of the family. And then you'd have other people arguing in the comments about, like, even if you add milk to coffee, it's still coffee. I'm not sure if people have seen people talking about stuff like that before.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't want to invalidate anybody is my point. So I'm not sure. It's hard to know with urban legends whether or not it's based in any sort of real folklore from the community it purports to come from, or if it's been changed over time.
Yeah.
But I do love a good Romeo and Juliet, I have to say. Theory number 3. The Ozark Spooklight is the spirit of a miner. Another local legend claims the mysterious light is the lantern of a grieving miner searching for his long-lost family. According to early 1900s Ozark folklore, the miner had been away from his cabin when it was allegedly attacked by a tribe. When he finally returned home, he discovered his wife and children had vanished without a trace, possibly taken by the tribe, or possibly they had fled together in desperation and simply never returned out of fear. Desperate to find them, he began wandering the isolated backroads and hills at night, carrying a lantern, calling out for his family in the darkness. Locals later claimed that the strange glowing orb seen drifting along the roadways was the spirit of the miner himself, doomed to continue his search long after death. In some versions of the story, the light appears to move with intention, approaching travelers, retreating into the woods, or hovering low over the road as if still searching or hoping to talk to somebody to see if they've seen something that's been lost in the surrounding countryside. Some witnesses who have seen the light up close also claim to have heard the sound of disembodied footsteps accompanying the light as it moves, lending credence to the idea that the light may just be guiding the spirit of a person on some sort of journey. What do you think of that one, Natalia?
Oh, that kind of makes sense because it's like the lantern. Some people say, oh, it looks like a lantern, someone guiding to the other side. But I don't know, if you're taking a lantern to somebody's death, and you start dancing the lantern around and doing like figure eights around their head and stuff like, ooh, I'm taking you to the other side. You're dead.
Like breakdancing.
Yeah, like that's not respectful, sir.
I do think the light seems more joyous than sad. So I guess you could probably spin any of these stories to be like, no, the guy's happy. Like, okay, the guy that got murdered and lost his head, well, he's actually pumped because death is not the end, and he's still here on the land where he ended up making lemons out of lemonade until he got murdered, and so he's just having a jolly old time.
Right.
And then the two lovers that drown themselves. Well, yeah, but they're together in death, so maybe their spirits are like actually kind of stoked because they did it. They beat the system, and now they're together forever, and they're just dancing on the treetops. Or for the miner, maybe when he died, he found his wife and child, and so that's why sometimes there's 3 orbs, and so they're playing catch in the sky. The one orb is a ball.
In the sky. Yeah. What if it's the mother puppies and the mother dog and her puppies.
What if it's the scarecrow?
I know. I never got over that. Like, whoever said that fucked up story, that comment, whoever you are, think about what you say before you open your mouth. Because now for the rest of our lives, I'm going to think of that. I'm going to be like, that is the saddest, most tragic thing I've ever heard, honestly.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. All right. Theory number 4, an orb or angel. More modern New Age interpretations of the Ozark Spooklight believe the strange balls of light spotted in the Devil's Promenade to actually be manifestations of spiritual orbs or angels. Within these belief systems, orbs are often thought to represent consciousness existing in a form that is not fully physical. Because spirits, angels, or interdimensional beings supposedly lack permanent material bodies, believers argue that they may appear instead as concentrated balls of light or energy that briefly become visible to the human eye. One common idea in spiritualism is that higher spiritual beings vibrate at frequencies humans normally cannot perceive. According to this belief, an orb appears when that energy temporarily condenses into visible light, especially in places considered spiritually thin or emotionally charged. Some paranormal researchers and energy workers claim orbs are more likely to appear in areas associated with death, trauma, sacred land, or heightened electromagnetic activity because these conditions supposedly make it easier for spiritual entities to manifest physically. In angel-focused interpretations, glowing orbs are sometimes viewed as the purest possible visual form for a spiritual being, since light is considered sacred across many religions and mystical traditions. Many believers interpret radiant spheres as evidence of divine presence, protection, guidance, or watchfulness. I'm going to be honest, I don't like this one, so I'm just going to move on.
Yeah, it seems like kind of a cop-out.
I think so, too. Like, we don't
like,
know that the purest form is light, first of all. We don't know that. What if the purest being is actually, like, a mud
dust
bug? Yeah, like, what if it's a worm? We don't fucking know.
Right.
Okay. Theory number 5. Portal. This brings us to our next theory, that the Devil's Promenade is some sort of portal or energetic gateway, and the light called the Ozark Spooklight is not one or two single lights, but actually a continuous stream of many lights that appear when the portal is open. This theory may explain why descriptions of the spooklight vary so dramatically from witness to witness. Some people describe a single orange lantern light glow, while others report clusters of floating white lights, rapidly moving blue orbs, bluish-white spheres, or lights of all colors that appear intelligent and aware of nearby observers. If the phenomenon is actually multiple entities emerging from the same portal rather than one repeating ghost, believers argue those contradictions suddenly begin to make sense. What do you think of that one?
I don't know. Yeah. It's not hitting as hard as like the chief or the lovers, you know?
Yeah. It's
or
not.
The lantern taking you to your death, but like breakdancing. You're like happy about it.
It's like fucking, what was the name of that Australian breakdancer that like ruined the Olympics? Do you know who I'm talking about?
I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember her name. But ruined the Olympics? Okay, that's like a little dramatic. I don't think she fucking ruined the Olympics.
Did you not hear she tried to sue a bunch of, like, somebody tried to do a parody performance and she sued them so that they wouldn't be able to do it? And then another person tried to do a play about it and she sued them so that they wouldn't be able to do it.
That is the same energy of deleting Let's Get Haunted's comment off of your paranormal video asking for an interview. Like, excuse me, nobody cares about you, you know?
Yeah. Okay, here is our final theory, and it's the skeptic theory. I saved the worst for last. Theory number 6, refraction of car headlights. Now we get to the skeptic theory that the Ozark Spooklight is sadly nothing more than an optical illusion caused by cars going up and down over the dips in the roadway. This explanation dates back surprisingly far, all the way to the 1930s. In January of 1936, journalist A.B. McDonald published an article to the Kansas City Star proposing that the light was likely caused by headlights traveling along what would eventually become U.S. Route 66. According to McDonald, the alignment of the highway with the hills and the valley near the Devil's Promenade created strange visual distortions at night, making ordinary headlights appear as floating glowing orbs in the distance. The theory gained even more attention decades later after investigator Robert Gannon traveled to the area for a famous 1965 article in Popular Mechanics titled "Balls of Fire! PM Tracks Down Ozark Spooklight." Gannon brought telescopes and observation equipment to the Devil's Promenade and claimed that while the naked eye made the phenomenon appear as a single mysterious orb, magnification revealed pairs of distant headlights traveling along Route 66. According to skeptics, the rolling hills and dips of the rural roadway create the illusion of floating lights moving through the darkness. As cars travel along nearby highways several miles away, their headlights briefly disappear behind ridges before re-emerging again, making the lights appear to hover, split apart, vanish suddenly, or drift above the ground. Atmospheric conditions like humidity, temperature inversions, and dust in the air may also distort the light further, especially at night when depth perception becomes unreliable. Over the years, multiple groups attempted to recreate the spook light using staged car headlights, spotlights, and even fireworks, some with more success than others, though none of these experiments were definitive. But for many long-time witnesses, the headlights theory feels incomplete. Now, this is me saying that I don't like that theory. Countless people insist that they have seen the light leave the roadway entirely, float through trees and fields, approach vehicles directly, split into multiple glowing spheres, or react intelligently to human presence. Also seemingly debunking the headlight theory is the investigation into the spook light that was carried out by the Army. You heard that right, the Army. Allegedly sometime in the 1940s, the legends and debate surrounding the spook light had grown so popular that Army engineers from nearby Camp Crowder decided to carry out a special project to study the light. While there are no surviving documents from this experiment online, many locals living in the area during this time period recalled Army vehicles driving up and down the gravel roadway, soldiers knocking on doors to get oral history about the light, and a variety of technical-looking instruments being set up along the road both day and night gathering data. After several weeks of this, the Army engineers then packed up their things and left, but not before telling the locals, "We don't know what the spook light is. We can't debunk it." And that is the story of the Ozark Spooklight. What do we think, Natalia?
Wow, that headlight one threw me for a loop. Is that like the M. Night Shyamalan? But then I was like, no, because they said it's been going on for 200 years.
Yeah, there were, first of all,
That's
there weren't
before
cars.
Route 66.
Yeah, if we believe it started in the 1800s, there were no cars. So, in this area then.
Did people put candles on their horses? Like... Probably not. No.
It's just Paul Revere, just like riding back and forth
in Oklahoma. He's like, I got really lost back there, guys. Don't know how I got here.
Are the British still coming? Yeah.
Yeah. I went through a portal, heard some whooping, and I accidentally went through a Bigfoot portal, and now I'm here.
Ray Gun, that's the name of the breakdancer, Ray Gun.
Oh, Ray
It's
Gun.
just Paul Revere and Ray Gun. They both went through a portal.
The level of stupid you have to be to understand this joke is so... It's so alarmingly good. Honestly, this podcast should be more popular.
And then that makes that lady's unhinged email into Legends of America even more funny if she's like, I had a special connection with the Spook Light, and it's just Paul Revere.
It's just Paul Revere. How did she have a special connection with Paul Revere? Like, she's in Quantipa, Oklahoma. I've actually never even heard of this town in Oklahoma, which makes me think it's really, really small.
It is. It's very, very small. I'm sure Ryan will throw up at some point, maybe at the beginning of the episode, maybe right now. Who knows, Ryan? But a like overhead Google Map view. It's so small. It's so small. And the Quapaw Reservation is nearby. So there's like the Quapaw powwow grounds. When I was like kind of looking around trying to see, there's the Quapaw Museum, but it's super, super tiny. It looks interesting. I would like to go there and just see if I can see it. Maybe one of us goes to one end of the road and the other person goes to the other end of the road and just like see what happens, I guess.
Dude, honestly, like a deep Oklahoma road trip would be so fun.
That would be
Maybe that's what we
super
need
fun.
to do for Let's Get Haunted. Just like map it out, like super plan, you know? And we can just document it, do like a hour-long vlog.
just a 7-day straight live stream, like
my
never
gosh,
never turn the camera off.
That would be really fun, you know?
People can donate for our gas money as the live stream is going. That might be kind of fun. Guys, tell us if you want this.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody
I want this.
Somebody please, if somebody has made it this far in the episode, please do fan art of ray gun breakdancing with Paul Revere at the end of a road in a portal. Please.
How can we ever explain that? It sounds kind of sick though. Honestly, those are some very Paul Revere in front of a portal on your t-shirt. That would go hard.
Would go hard. That would go so hard. What would he be saying? Would there be like a speech bubble?
Oh man, really putting me on the spot. Maybe like 1776? Like more like Route 66.
One if by land,
17.
2 if by portal. Just like the worst.
Wait, when was America founded? Was it 1776?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, guys, sorry. I may have said 1766. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I think you said 1776. I don't know. Who knows?
I hope I did. I really hope I did. Otherwise, I'm going to get so many comments underneath this telling me, yeah.
Wow. Do you want to do
episode.
Oh, I guess say what your I forgot what we were doing. Okay, say what your favorite theory is and then we can sign off.
I want to say the chief because the chief, you guys, I wish I would have described this, what the chief was wearing. It was like a fucking lambskin drip. Like, this man had like, you could tell it was like the most buttery, soft goat skin or something like that. Like a tunic, like long sleeve, and it had like, it was white leather. It had like beading on it, like intricate beading. Oh my God.
What just happened?
My hair thing dropped on my thigh. And I thought it was a spider. God, that made me so scared because I was like, it's the chief. Like, he doesn't like how I'm describing his outfit. He's like, no, it wasn't goat skin. It was rabbit skin, you stupid whore. And yeah, but okay. It was so nice. And he had like these moccasins and it looked luxury as fuck. Like, it actually made me want to get that same outfit, but then I was like, and that's how people get canceled, right? Like, I can't wear that, right? I don't know.
You're the one from Oklahoma. You know the lore. I don't know the lore.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, in 2026, guys, do we still not wear full Native American
regalia? Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not.
Maybe a few more years on that one. We'll put that one on the back burner.
Yeah. Let's wait till the aliens come down and we have to assimilate to their culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're all
Then it'll
just
be just
walking
like a
around
glow ball.
naked with giant sunglasses on that make us look like we have big bug eyes. And then now there will be no such thing as stealing someone's culture because our culture will all have been stolen from us by the aliens.
Oh. Wow. There's a lot of really deep thoughts presented on this podcast. First, the Paul Revere portal. And now this? Now,
guys-
once all of our culture has been stolen by the aliens, actually the aliens are going to unite all of mankind because we'll have a collective enemy instead of each other.
Who knows? That's what some people think Project Bluebeam's about, but I digress. Natalia, would you like to do our sign-off for this week's episode?
Sure. BRB, gotta go find a portal because Paul Revere said 1 of my land and 2 of my portal.
Bye! Welcome to the closing credits for episode 263, The Ozark Spooklight. This month, we would love to give a warm, heartfelt thank you to our Patreon donors who donated to us in the month of March 2026. Letters in through Z. As a friendly reminder, these are our monthly donors. We have both monthly and annual haunties, and annual haunties get shouted out once a month on their very own super special closing credits. But these are our monthly haunties, letters in through Z. If you'd like to become a donor and hear your name shouted out on a future episode, head over to patreon.com/c/let's get haunted. I was trying to do like Let's Get Ready to Rumble, but then I lost the rhythm halfway through, so sorry about that. Where you will not only get a shout out, but you'll also get access to episode extras, minisodes, bonus episodes, vlogs, personal hauntings, live streams, and much, much more. Plus, we have a ginormous back catalog of content over there on Patreon, so even if you feel like, it's not being updated fast enough for your liking, we have probably, literally, hundreds of videos, hundreds of audio sound bites on there, hundreds of live streams, maybe. I don't know how many live streams I've done, but it's a lot, okay? So head over there to Patreon and check it all out today. This week, we'd like to thank Naomi, Natalie C, Natalie G, Natasha M, Natasha, Nats Nut Button, Nicholas M, Nick U, Nikki S, Nicole A, Nikki B, Nilza, Noah B, Not a Cat, Occult C, Oliver F, Olivia K, Oscar M, Owl Bear of Oracle, Padaka Ansani, Parker L, Patricia Militia, Paula M, Peter Barker, aka Camry G. Camry, do you get tired of that? I feel like I've been doing that same inflection for like a year. And I never get sick of it personally. But if you're sick of it and you want new inflection, simply let me know in the comments. Phoebe O, Phoenix Crippen, Kwong LM, Rachel O, Rachel M, Rachel T, Ray M, Ramon J, Rayleigh R, Rebecca B, Rebecca H, Red Moon, Renee, Ria Bobia, Richard O, Rita S, Rivier, Rob D, Robert K, Robert W, Robin B, Rory L, Rose M, Roxanne B, Roxy, Ruben P, Riley F, Sam P, Samantha H, Samantha P, Sandeep S, Sandra L, Sarah W, Sarah D, Sarah J, Sarah L, Sarah R, Sarah Z, Sassy Squatch, Savannah S, Sav H, Savvy, aka Savvy, Scamantha, Selena F, Set D, Shane, Shania Z, Sean H, Shay L, She's Not Here, formerly Al H, Sid from the Bronx, Slampersand, Sleepy Dryad, Sleepy Siren, Smokin' Void, Soggy Q-Tip, Spencer R, Steph M, Sue T, Sugar Bread, Summer Joy, Summer L, Sweet Anarchy, Sydney C, Sydney S, Sylvie M, T Hart, Tabby J, Tay M, Tanya, Tanya, Taryn K, Tash, Tosh, Taylor J, Taylor M, Tegan M, The Rap Mans, The Veiled Lantern. Now, The Veiled Lantern, I think I've finally discovered your true identity. Are you the Ozark Spooklight? You'll never reveal your secrets, will you? Tiana RQ, Tracy, Tsunami It's Sami, Tsunami It's Sammy, Tyler, Valerie R, Valeria R, Valeria R, Valpal, Vera M, Veronica W, Vert Agris. Vert, your name made me cough. Are you a witch? Victor, Victor A, Victoria C, Victoria L, Wayne C, Wonk Bunny, Y2NLA, Yes A, Yeti, Yadai, Yoliza, and Yvonne R. Pew, 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 pew. Thank you guys so much for supporting us in the month of March 2026. We do not exist without our donors. We very much appreciate each and every one of you. I recognize pretty much every single name that I just read off, which is kind of not a good sign in terms of how my non-podcasting life is going, because I feel like the podcast just consumes me, and I recognize your guys' names. Now, all that being said, it is time for our secret password of the week. This is the password that you will comment on the photo dump at Let's Get Haunted in the comment section, or you can comment it on the Spotify episode in the comments section. And every comment that you leave, up to 2 comments, is good for 1 entry into the end of the year raffle, where we give away all types of really cool stuff, including merch, and sometimes exclusive merch, and sometimes limited run merch. And you just really have to take a chance, because we never know what's going to happen until we do it. You can probably guess what today's secret password is. Today's secret password is 1776, more like Route 66. Or you can also comment 1 if by land, 2 if by portal. See you guys next week. Bye.